From Disneyland to Hollywood, the Oscars this week captured attention across the globe. This year, Ang Lee became the first ever Chinese filmmaker to win the Best Director category. Despite Lee's personal success, no Chinese-made films received a nomination from the Academy this year. This week, I interviewed Stuart Lee Back, MD of Shanghai-based Mengchang Productions. As an independent producer of Chinese films, he explained to us the challenges in promoting Chinese films overseas. Beyond the recognition of awards, there is always revenue, and more Chinese films are trying to get a share of the international box office today. So, how are these Chinese films being distributed and promoted overseas right now?
It varies by whether it's a high-budget, high-concept feature that everybody knows about, or if it's a lower-budget feature.
Right.
The big-name directors and producers work with major overseas studios to distribute their films for them. So they will make deals with them, and it's always based on the stars and the director, the names that they can market in the individual markets. The lower budget's much more problematic because you're competing with a huge number of independent features out there coming from all the countries.
For smaller budget movies, independent producers, how do you actually promote your movies?
Well, at a big budget feature level, they may spend a third of the production costs on marketing. That's a huge dollar value. Most independent filmmakers will look to put more of their production costs onto the screen. In other words, they want it to go something that appears on camera, and they'll stretch those dollars as best they can to make the image and the sound and everything that's on the screen be the best they can. And then they'll do as best they can to try to get that film out. Festivals, if they can get it into a limited theatrical release. In the States, for example, somebody will get their picture in an art house in New York and in LA and get a limited run for a week or two, especially if they are familiar with those chains and have good relationships and so on. And then if those limited theatrical releases are successful, they can use that as ammunition to go to a distributor, studio, so on, to show, hey, this thing, if we make it a little wider, has potential. Take a look at these numbers and the reviews. The thing that's nice is to be able to find, for an independent producer, if they can find an independent chain of theaters or one-off theaters that are willing to show their feature at any way, then they can find a way to promote that, whether it be through flyers or through word on the street or through the internet, which is a good option.
What are the difficulties or the challenges in promoting Chinese movies overseas, you think?
Well, some people in Hollywood say that the American market doesn't warm up to films with subtitles that are in native languages. Personally, I think that the story in the native language is the most beautiful and the most impactful, because I think that the audience is getting more sophisticated. They want to hear the intonations of voice, and they want to hear the emotion that comes out. So I think that our preference is for subtitling in the original language rather than dubbing. So that's one thing. And I think that the thing that's interesting about us now in the information age with the internet and so on, everybody's familiar with, is that there are more opportunities to be creative with promoting your film. I mean, the Blair Witch Project showed that you can have a film just shot off the cuff, and yet it can make a huge impact and splash in the world. Why did that happen? Because it was a film that caught people's imaginations, and it was promoted very well online. So, perhaps the way forward is for us in China to look for more unique ways to promote our film using the internet as well as the existing channels, and hopefully making those work better.
From a financial point of view, do you think it makes more sense to schedule a simultaneous worldwide premiere, or does it make more sense to schedule a sequential premiere in different countries?
Well, from a financial perspective, the impetus for a simultaneous release would always be a big bang impact worldwide that would create buzz and legs for the film during its theatrical release. If you go for a worldwide premiere, at least now while we still project primarily on film rather than digital, if somebody's going to go for a worldwide release, they have to produce a film negatives, many cans of negatives, all these reels that will be shown in each theater worldwide. Okay. So if you're doing a release in 15 countries or 20 countries or whatever the case may be, the film cost is not insubstantial.
Can we say that in the future, when everything is digital, we can expect to see more worldwide simultaneous premieres than sequential premieres?
I think you will. Yeah, I think we'll see more simultaneous premieres, and I think that the big production companies will look for attempting to recoup their losses quickly for financial reasons, and then they'll look at the aftermarket for downloadable films and DVDs and so on as a bonus.
Mr. Beck added that while high-budget films normally go straight to theatrical releases, low-budget movies look at film festivals as a great advertising platform.